How's it going, guys? Welcome to the Blue Shifting and welcome back to SeaBed, where last time we were here, we're continuing down the Sachiko telling, I guess, in chapter 3. She's seen some stuff. Her doctors followed her. Kind of weird. Whatever. Still trying to figure out what's real or not. We're gonna go with the flow, see what happens. We're mostly just trying to suss out, like, what are we gonna learn about today? And specifically, we had the strange girl that was observed in the library. Both Sachiko and Narasaki talked to her, and apparently they've made a promise to let her come and talk to Nanae's aunt, who helped own and establish the building, because for some reason this little girl's obsessed with this building and trying to, like, learn its floor plans and trying to understand, like, its history. So we're going to help her go there and take care of it. I have no idea why. Very interested to find out. Anyway. So Sachiko, I think, is talking here. I'm gonna guess, right? It's quite a mansion, isn't it? Narasaki looked over her shoulder. Yeah, there she is. The girl is following us, keeping a moderate distance. Well, that should be a given. The place used to be a residence of an influential family until it was sold off and remodeled following the war. Oh, interesting. Even among classic hotels, you'd be hard-pressed to find a place that's preserved in its historical authenticity to this extent. What the heck? What child talks like that? I see, Narasaki remarked. I heard the girl mumble, and I see you know nothing, in a low voice. As Narasaki made an awkward smile, a voice called out to me from the window. There she is. I looked outside and saw Nanae in a straw hat leaning her back against a cart. It was filled with little shovels, scissors, and other such equipment. Good morning, Sachiko. Weather's looking pretty good today, eh? She tilted her hat and looked at me. Huh? Kozu's with you? Yeah, I think that's her. Kozua. I keep dropping the E's. No, it's Kozua. Kozua's with you? I didn't realize you knew each other. Nanae waved at the girl next to me. She returned her energetic greeting with a blank stare. What a lively child. What are you doing? Oh, so that's what Sachiko said. Sorry. Gosh darn it. Wrong voices again. Just playing with the dirt. I'm gonna get some vegetables from the fields. She patted a bag of dirt in the cart. You okay with yam? Oh, it's one of my favorites. The forecast said it's going to rain in the evening, though. I know. But it's not to worry. I'm not too worried about that. The weather in this mountains is usually all over the place anyway. So what are you up to, Sachiko? We were on our way to greet your aunt. Oh, I see. I just passed her in the lobby. She's probably already waiting for you. I see. Thanks. We'll be on our way then. Wait. Kozu's going with you? Gosh darn it. Kozua is going with you? Yes. That's quite a peculiar group you have there. Now I'm almost curious about what you're planning to discuss. Anyway, don't worry too much about my auntie. The more people that are there to talk to, the happier she gets. Now, this would make me suspicious about Narasaki being real, because she's not addressing her at all. But the girl talks to Narasaki. I think. Unless we're seeing, like, the whole, like, she makes the scenario work for her. Weird. I don't... I'm glad to hear that, said Narasaki. What is real? What is happening? After reaching the lobby, we took the left corner, and after a few steps, found a staircase leading underground to our right. Whoa. We descended in an orderly line. Narasaki, who was at the front, stopped at the bottom step and opened another set of doors. The sweet scent of sugar lingered in the air around us. I looked back and saw Kozua grimacing. After walking through a narrow underground corridor for a while, we reached the entrance to a wide room. We stepped over the stone tile that separated the two areas. Interesting. There was a round table and 3 chairs at the center of the room, as well as Nanae's aunt in her apron. She was sitting plates on the table. Hello? Oh, you're here already? Hello, hello! And Narasaki and I bowed my head. Said Narasaki as I bowed my head. Nanae's aunt said her greetings and considered us one by one. Forgive me, I'm still in the middle of making preparations. Could you wait for me at the table? I'll be back in a second. She then disappeared to another room with a tray in her hand. Before she closed the door, though, I caught a glimpse of an old stove. Doing as I'd been told, I pulled back to the nearby chairs and sat down. Okay, this is going to be the truth and reality test, even though it's not technically real because we have evidence of people talking to each other who don't exist. Kozua did the same. Narasaki walked over to the sofa and closed the window. After brushing off some of the accumulated dust, collapsed on it with a sigh. Yeah, so once again, it's weird. Like, she's not going to be sitting at the table, she's going to be on the bench. The walls of the underground room were made of stone, with a couple of wooden windows on the top. Through said windows, I could see the tree in the yard. I realized that the stair next to Narasaki's sofa led straight to it. Kozua sat in front of me, glancing around the room with an empty expression. Sorry to have kept you waiting. I turned around and noticed that Nanae's aunt has returned from the other room. She came closer to us, wiping her wet hands on her apron. Oh, it's not a problem at all. I'm sorry for bothering you at such a busy time. I tried standing up, but Nanae's aunt gestured for me to be seated. Oh, I'm not busy at all. And even if I was, I'd prioritize a good conversation over anything else. The older a person gets, the gloomier the conversations become. So you see, I'm grateful for any chance that lets me spend some time with the youngsters. She walked over to the table and sat down on one chair and remains open. Nice to meet you. My name is, Akai Lily. Akai. Gosh darn it. I'm so sorry, slaughtering words. Akai. I think that's right. Akai. Just call me Lily, okay? Are you a foreigner? Asked Kozua. No, but I spent a long time there. That's weird, said Kozua in a small voice. She chose not to pry further. Is it? I like my name, though. Lily made a sour face, pretending to be hurt. She turned to me, noticing that I'd been looking for a chance to introduce myself as well. You're Sachiko, right? I've heard all about you from Nanae. She kept talking about what a beauty you were after she came back from Rome. Oh, snap. See, Nanae's really got something for her. It made her so excited when she learned you'd be dropping by for a visit. Narasaki let out a suggestive mumble. She might look all grown up, but she's still a child inside. She's not causing you any trouble, is she? Not at all. If anything, I'm the one causing her trouble. She's the one looking after me. I think she makes an excellent landlady. You said it, Narasaki added. Once again, was that impactful for the conversation? No. I can't. Is the doctor's not here, is she? I'm glad to hear that. Oh, and I've seen you at the library. Your name was, Lily gave Kozua a gentle smile. Kozua returned a blank stare. Did you forget what you came here for? Asked Narasaki. It's Kozua. Kozua looked at me and Narasaki and then finally introduced herself. Ah, right. It was Kozua. Now I remember. I'm Lily, the caretaker of this inn. Nice to meet you. Lily placed her palm on the girl's small head, making Kozua's young face contort in a sour expression. Who's saying this one now? I'm guessing it's Narasaki. Is the kitchen next door? I can smell something tasty from that direction. Lily then turned to me. Oh, maybe that was what she said. Yes, that's right. After learning I'd be having guests, I decided to put my old baking skills to use, you see. But things are not working out. I prepared things in advance, so it would only take a minute or two to serve you, but I must have lost touch over the years. Oh, but don't worry, I'm sure the taste is fine. Do you happen to like sweet things? Who doesn't? Yes. I looked towards the sofa. Lily shifted her gaze to Narasaki as well. I prefer the spicy food. They'd be perfect with some tea, I'm sure. They certainly are. Lily made a smile before turning to Kozua. Okay, so now she's part of the conversation. Gosh darn it, game. What about you? I don't know. Kozua made a troubled face. My favorite is the foreign type of pastry. I'm sure you'll like it too. Lily glanced at the clock on the wall. They should be finished by the time the old clock strikes 2. Just hold on a little while longer, okay? Is it going to be Spanish pastries? Yes, that's right. How did you know? I saw a picture of you in Spanish bakery over in the cafeteria. Ah, I see. That certainly brings back memories. I worked at that place for 2 years. I think that might have been Sachiko talking there, actually. I can't tell. That bakery was run by a married couple. They would look after me like their own daughter. I mustered the courage to go overseas, but finding proper work wasn't all that easy. I had a work visa, but I couldn't speak the language. Geez, that was bold. And just when my savings were about to run dry, I chanced upon that bakery. The husband spoke English, so we could communicate. I explained to him that I came to Spain to learn about cooking, but had no connections over here, nor any money left over. So he offered to let me live and work at his place. You went all the way overseas to study culinary arts? Yes, I wanted to learn about the nation's cuisine of a number of different countries. After Spain, I also visited France and Germany. But I always was planning to return to Japan eventually to work at this inn. You weren't thinking about staying overseas? I made a promise with Nanae's mother that we'd build and run it together. With Nana's mother. Nanae's mother? That's right. I think it was during one of our high school trips, but we got completely spellbound by this one inn we stayed in Kyoto. I still remember it like it was yesterday. The look of the place, the amiable staff, the wonderful food. Everything was so great it felt almost like I barged into heaven just a tad too early. Narasaki made a broad smile. I think I know that feeling. However, as far as I remember, the inns in Kyoto are mostly traditional Japanese-style buildings made out of wood. That detail never had any influence on you two? What charmed us was the otherworldly atmosphere inside. I felt as though we traveled through time. We had all the choices in the world, so we decided to model the place according to what we liked the most. Nana inherited Miki's love for Western antiques. I was also quite into fables and old Western houses at the time. We also liked how the cafeteria and the library were designed. But above all else, we were lucky that this mansion belonged to Miki's family to begin with. She inherited it after the passing of her grandmother, then we remodeled it according to our tastes. That was a lot of information. Kozua, who had been absentmindedly looking around the room with a bored expression, suddenly raised her head. By the way, Kozua, didn't you come here to ask about the mansion? Said Narasaki. Is it true that this place was a hospital before you took over? Oh. Okay, hang on, hold the phone, put that receiver down. So I was absolutely right. I talked about this from the get-go. That was like, this place looks so much like the hospital. It looks so much like the sanatorium. How is that possible? Could they be on 2 different time periods? That would be ridiculous. How would they have... What? Oh, gosh. Darn it. It's like... Could 2 people have actually shared a relationship through, like, hallucinations that might not have been entirely hallucinations? Or so, I don't get it. It's weird. I'm so confused. Okay, so it was a hospital. Lily turned to Kozua. Oh, maybe it's not true though. Let's see. I thought everyone had forgotten that rumor by now. In a way, you are right. This place was a sanatorium before the war. Fetch. But it still belonged to the Fujisaki family. It mattered at the time. Its master at the time was a doctor, and it simply felt like he should lend some of his rooms to his long-term patients. I heard there were times when over 10 patients lived alongside him in the mansion. Kozuha listened to Lily's story in complete silence. I heard the grandfather clock in the lobby chime the hour. Oh, that's time for the treats. I think the pastry should be ready by now. Let's continue this conversation over some snacks and a cup of tea. Kozuha gave the clock on the wall a quick glance. Lily stood up. I'll help. Thanks. I stood up myself and followed Lily into the kitchen. Darn it, read it as Narasaki. Okay. Still seated, Kozuha picked up her carrier bag from the ground and placed it on her knees and pulled out a folded packet with documents. She then opened it up and put it on the table. Her bag seemed to be made of cloth and had an engraving of a lily on it. Lily. Later that afternoon, the conversation shifted completely to Kozuha and Lily when they began discussing the mansion. Lily brought out an old schematic and spread it out across the table. Kozuha kept pointing at the various parts that piqued her curiosity. Why is this well in such an inconvenient location? There used to be a rear exit to the western wing. However, it got blocked as we expanded the cafeteria. No one was using the well by that time, though. Next, she pointed at the roof. Where does this chimney connect to? You noticed the most interesting of things. It's connected to the stove of this room. You saw the spiral staircase in the lobby, right? That will lead you to the roof. The chimney was originally used for baths. Her hand paused for a second before traveling to the polveron on the white porcelain plate resting on the table. She picked it up and put it in her tiny mouth. Okay. It must be the treat. I have no idea what that is, though. Polverons look like rectangular cookies at a glance, but their texture was similar to the Okinawan chinsuko. They also carried a scent of cinnamon. Well, thank you for answering that question, Gabe. Still don't think I've had one before, though. They would almost literally melt in the mouth. Well, save for the hard almonds that would crack between your teeth. The cinnamon and the almonds created a very balanced mix of scents and flavors. Honestly, I'd never eaten anything like this before. It sounds amazing. Lily told us the Provolons originated from Andalusia in Spain. Kozuha licked her snow powder off her fingers after taking a sip of her black tea, placed the cup on a saucer with a light clang. She then glanced at the clock on the wall. Thank you. This was very educational. You are welcome. Is it okay if I come talk to you again? Feel free to visit whenever you like. My doors are always open to such cute guests. Kozuha answered Lily's words with a blank stare. You'd be even cuter if you smiled a bit more. Yeah, no. Kozuha paused for a few seconds, seemingly analyzing the idea, then stuffed all her things in her bag and left the room. You can come by any time. Kozuha, without turning back, climbed the stairs and disappeared from sight. That was weird. I'll go see the princess off. Narasaki rose to her feet. Lily and I saw the two off. I wonder if she's planning to be an architect or a designer in the future. It's pretty inspiring to see someone so young start from such an early age. I agree. She's quick on the uptake and clearly motivated. If only she acted a bit friendlier, she'd be a favorite among teachers. Lily paused there. It seemed as though she was just about to reveal the reason behind Kozuha's behavior. Like Narasaki said before, everyone had their own individual circumstances. Maybe she likes you, but isn't good. Maybe she likes you, but isn't good at showing it. I feel like you could have given her some even better advice, though. Lily kept her fingers on the teacup handle without actually lifting up the cup itself. Nanae told me you were running a design office in the city. I am. What kind of job is it exactly? I got a question a lot. We meet our clients' demands, whatever they may be. Do you make advertisements for magazines and TV stations? If the project calls for it. I believe it's an expanding business. Radios, newspapers, televisions, almost everyone uses them these days. Your workload must be increasing by the day, or am I wrong? You're right, we get more offers nowadays. However, most of the big companies already have their established ties with old advertising agencies, so a relatively new place like ours tends to only get local and small-scale projects. Oh, so it's an old business, actually. Advertising's been around for over 100 years. Actually, I would argue that advertising's been around for thousands of years. It just took different forms. Criers, people who show their wares up in the street. I'm sure free samples have been a thing for a while now. Heck, and like not even they're even like political campaigns and such. Like bread and circuses with Rome. As a way of getting people to support the government. I see. Are you interested in advertising? Lily waved her hand in front of her face. No, the topic simply came up when I chatted with someone in town the other day. Living up here in the mountains in the middle of nowhere leaves me with plenty of time to think and ponder, you see. I see. Lily smiled and I couldn't help smiling in return. Interesting. I heard the grandfather clock chime for the nth time. I think I should be going. Oh, I didn't realize it's gotten so late. Give me just a sec. Lily promptly vanished into the kitchen and returned with a basket full of pastries neatly lined on a piece of kitchen paper sporting a flower design. Take this with you. Thank you very much. I'll make sure to use them for a midnight snack. You can hand the basket to Nana when she comes to your room. Thank you. Both the tea and your pastries were delicious. It's been long since I had a chance to chat with a fresh face. I'd feel happier talking out some other time, so don't be shy. How is this place open? All right. I gave her a small bow and headed towards the exit. Miss Sachiko. Yes. Captain Obvious coming in for the assault here. I think Nanae likes you very much. She's been working at this inn since she was a child, and with her hobbies being antiques and working in the fields, she never had any friends her age. Would you mind becoming her first? I'm also having fun spending time with her. I see. I suppose that was an empty concern on my part. Lily gave me the warmest smile I'd seen from her today. That's right. She stopped me again. I forgot about it earlier, but I know the architect who was responsible for remodeling this place. I think Kozue might be interested in meeting him too. Could you tell her for me when you see her around? Nice. Of course. Well then, see you. I made another bow as Lily waved me goodbye. I'm sorry for holding you up so many times. I'm done now, I promise. Goodbye. Interesting. The plot thickens like gravy. I just watched Food Wars a little before coming to do this, so I've got food on the brain. Her slender fingers reached out to the book on the top shelf, but instead of pulling it out, only managed to push it deeper inside. This is Narasaki's point of view, of course. Here you go. Standing behind Kozua in her wooden stand, I took the volume she was trying to reach. I thought you went home. I held up a stuffed doll in front of her as she turned around. I was planning to go after checking this. Ignoring the doll, she climbed down from the stand and walked over to the same desk as yesterday while carrying a large book. I sat down in the seat in front of hers. Kozue opened the book right away and began scribbling down some notes. Oh, right. Lily said she could introduce you to an architect if you're interested. He can show you how the actual work gets done. How does she know that? Narasaki had left for those conversations, and they never said she came back. And yet she knows. It's not... I'm becoming 110% convinced that Narasaki is not real. I think she might be some portion of Sachiko. Because how would she know what was talked about before that they... Because, here's the thing. They talked about it before, like they're having a conversation, and it may sound like the conversation went like for several hours. If Lily is, I'm gonna say not Lily. If oh shoot, what's her name? The little girl is literally coming to check a reference here, and then she's gonna go home. This is happening while Sachiko's talking with Lily. So how does she know this? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't line up. There's no logic to it. Ah. I see. When? I don't know. She didn't mention it, so I suppose they can arrange it whenever. You can ask her yourself. Kozua stared at me for a few long moments until finally breaking our gaze. I'm grateful for what you did today. Thank you. She muttered that without looking at me while continuing to scribble away at her papers. Is this really that important for you? Not really. I'm just looking it up because I'm curious. How did you get interested in this place to begin with? It was close. I don't really care what it is. I just like doing research. Oh, girl, you could have a very strong future in the sciences. There are a lot of people who like crossword puzzles, right? It's the same. Crossword puzzles? If you know how many windows there should be in a room, you can tell how many rooms a building has just by looking at it from the outside. You can tell it has a fireplace if there's a chimney, and you can research that and you find more and more things that answer your questions. It's like a crossword puzzle, right? So you don't have any special feelings for this place? Kozua continued scribbling without answering. All I could hear was a rustling of paper and the light thud of the pen as it pressed against the desk. I looked up at the ceiling and realized it was already dark outside. Alright, another problem I just remembered. Gosh, I've been leaning into you guys a lot today. Okay, so hear me out on this one. Remember when we were with Takako and she was in the sanatorium? She was changing fluorescent lights. Did they have fluorescent lights before World War II? I'm pretty sure they didn't. I'm pretty sure they didn't. I'm pretty sure that the fluorescent lights were like a thing of the 80s. Could be completely wrong on that, but that seems fishy. Just seems fishy to me. This is not with that piece of added intel on top of what we're seeing right now. I'm starting to wonder if this really is like a multi-dimensional situation, like parallel worlds. It's weird. The sound of writing suddenly ceased. I should have clicked and then talked to you. I returned my gaze to Kozua and found herself staring at me. Why do you care about me so much? To be completely honest, it's because you remind me of my good friend. What kind of person is she? She regarded me with another one of those sharp stares. She was a smart girl who liked books, kind of like you. You could say she was also kind of difficult to deal with. I don't think she had any other friends besides yours truly. So, if this is Narasaki talking, once again, what the fetch? Because if she's talking about Sachiko, which I'm pretty sure is who she's talking about, then what about Takako? What, did Takako never exist? You could, Kozua mumbled something and she began stuffing her notes in her bag. I picked up the book she left lying on the table. Kozua didn't say anything, so I returned it to its original place on the shelf. I turned around to see Kozua staring at me, all ready to go. She broke our gaze right away and started towards the exit. I followed after her, leaving the library. I caught up to her on a stone-paved road and continued walking with her until we came to the fork that split off the mansion. You live behind that mountain? Yes. I heard there was a small village there. Is it close? Yes. I'd love to see it. Can I come with you for a part of the way? Kozua stole a short glance at me and let out a small sigh. She didn't outright reject me, so I kept going. We passed the road that split into the mansion, eventually reaching a set of stone stairs. We ascended them and found ourselves on an outside road. Kozua continued up the slanted, unpaved slope without changing her speed. Looking behind her, I saw the three-way junction we passed in the car back when I first came to the mountain. I turned back and addressed Kozua. How do you feel about meeting Lily today? I caught up to Kozuha and lined up next to her as she gave me a puzzled look. Everyone was calling her an aunt, so I imagined it'd be someone older. I thought she'd be at least as old as Nanae's mother. Kozuha didn't seem too interested and just shrugged. Oh, that was Narasaki. Gosh darn it! After a few minutes, we found ourselves in front of a small tunnel. A single car would have trouble fitting in. Those tunnels must be terrifying. We reached the end of the short tunnel and emerged onto a wide basin. The irrigation ditches sprawled across the area, disappearing beyond the mountain. A small river flowed in the middle. Hang on, this is interesting. I don't remember the name of it, but I think I remember watching a video that was talking about like places to visit in Japan. And it talked about a little village that was like you could only access through like a small like one-way like one car width tunnel. I wonder if that's what this is based off of. I can't remember the name of it to save my life. But the YouTube channel, International Me, if you haven't ever watched it, I highly recommend it. It's just a fun glance at like stuff you can do in Japan. Like she started her channel, her whole focus of it was like cheap day trips around Tokyo. I think it was like traveling on a budget, kind of an idea, and it's grown into like an awesome channel to talk about just various tourist spots. And it's cool because it really is a bridging type of channel between like Western or English dominant cultures and Japan, because she speaks English through her videos, but it is obviously native to Japan, and it's really cool to just see. And she shows so many places, and she's just got a fun personality too. So like check her out if you can. She's one of my favorite channels, International Me. Just if you get an opportunity, it's worth a check out for sure. It's funny because like I think she was the first YouTube channel that was on the like up like channels on the rise in the trending tab, where normally that doesn't really have anything I'm interested in, but every once in a while, like every other day or so, there's a like YouTuber on the rise. Like it's a channel that's gone above 1,000 subscribers that they kind of promote there, where people can easily find it if they're just like browsing. And I think hers was like one of the first ones they grabbed, and that's how I found her. So glad I did. Loved it. Love her content. Anyway, that small river flowed in the middle. Most of the fields were either rice or wheat plantations, with a few isolated farms visible here and there. We continued down the gentle slope in the unpaved road along the river. It's beautiful here. There's nothing here. That could be a good thing, depending on how you look at it. I stopped, but Kozuha didn't. The distance between us began to grow. I think I'll be turning back around here. Kozuha seemed on the verge of looking back, but ended up continuing onwards without paying me any further attention. As I made my way back through the tunnel, I realized that the southern end of the mountain was brighter than the northern one. Interesting observation to make. I was walking through the inner yard watching the orange-tinted light of dusk illuminate the second-floor windows when I spotted Nanae approaching with a cartwheel of vegetables. Back to Sachiko. She looked like a beggar from some old fable, her forehead covered in sweat and mud, her face frozen in a broad smile. Doesn't look very muddy here. Oh! She waved my way after spotting me, like she did this morning. Looks like it was a bountiful harvest. We're having lots of fresh vegetables for dinner tonight. Oh, great! Did you manage to meet my auntie? Yes. I raised the basket in front of her. I see you got yourself some palvarons. I saw her making them this morning. Those little things are to die for. Care for some? You sure? Yes. Nanae came closer, pulling her hands out of muddy cotton gloves. Oh, there's still some dirt on her hands. It must have seeped through the gloves. Here you go. I picked up one of the polverons and dangled it in front of Nanae's mouth. She took a bite. Aw, that's cute. It's good. I love how it melts in your mouth, she said, wiping her forehead. Is Lily not full-blooded Japanese? Nanae paused for a few moments, then burst into laughter. I see she still introduces herself as that. Is that not her real name? I gave her an incredulous look. She's 100% Japanese. It's just that, apparently she thought her real name didn't suit the mood of this place, so she changed it up a bit. I see. Okay, It's not actually saying that, but this is very reminiscent of like the reverse weeaboo, someone who assumes another culture. I don't know though. I get the feeling it's mostly out of respect, and you gotta give her the credit that she did like technically live overseas for a long time. I feel at that point you probably could and should feel okay with being able to I don't know, maybe choose how to immerse yourself in that culture. I don't know. It's a huge, because that's the whole definition. Like I mean, I've heard people call me a weeb, and I'll wholeheartedly joke about myself being a weeb. But the true definition of weeboo is somebody who decides that specifically Japanese culture is something that so fits them that they kind of want to immerse themselves and try and live like they have that culture. And that's not right. You need to respect and understand where you come from, and like it doesn't matter. Like if I ended up moving to Japan, I would never be Japanese. I'd never try to be. I'd just be an American who appreciates Japan. And I would expect the same from Japanese citizens who decide to come and live in America. I mean, there are some people who take it way too far. Both sides, we're both bad at that kind of thing, but you know, in a healthy world and like with a healthy mind, you can appreciate, respect, and even love the culture without trying to make it a part of your identity as if it was always something that should have been a part of you. Because that's, for one thing, it's kind of disrespectful because it can come across as someone who's haughty, and can also it can come across as wrong for somebody who doesn't truly understand what they're doing. Like that can be really, 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 really awkward. But then I think most importantly is you need to have respect for who you are and where you came from. I don't care who it is. You've got some really cool stories in your family history, like the reason why you live where you live, the reason why you have the body you have. There's a rich culture and a rich, interesting background there. And even some of the most tragic of stories can turn around and make people stronger. I hope that people don't have to have a bunch of tragic stories in their past, and it's never fun to learn that someone was a murderer in your history, but you know what? We all have it. And so actually, I would actually encourage you to, like, if you have an opportunity, learn about your ancestry. Take one of those DNA tests, although I hear they're kind of iffy. But like, or just do genealogy research. Like, my family did a big stint on Ancestry.com for a while. It's fantastic learning about your history. Distantly, I've got a relation that actually came over through the Mayflower. It's like one of its like return trips to the United States to establish one of the first colonies in the United States. It's on the Johnson side of the family, which is a very common name, I know. But we are connected through them, through my mom's side, and it's pretty cool to know that my ancestors had a strong effect on like the settling of North America. It's a pretty fun thing to have, and it helps me appreciate who I am and where I am. Anyway, so I don't know. Actually, out of curiosity, anybody who's happening to watch here, have you done any genealogy work? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to see, what you think about it, or if you've ever had an opportunity to. It used to be something you kind of had to pay a lot of money to be part of, but nowadays I think they do have some programs that are pretty easy to get access to. A lot of libraries will actually have subscriptions to the big genealogy program, so you can just go and use it for free at a library. It's like, I bet you it's like the least used resource in your public library, but it's freaking awesome, and you should absolutely try it out. Anyway, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about genealogy, and if you've been able to tie yourself to different countries and histories. Anyway, blah blah blah, let's move on. New insider, I see. Her real name is Yurika. That's kind of a cute name, actually. Yurika. Yeah, I agree. That's a beautiful name. I agree. Lily was apparently the name of a character in a movie she liked as a child, but I can't comment much on that since I never saw it. That would be like, oh gosh, like a childhood movie that's Japanese that I liked. Gosh darn, I didn't watch very much Japanese stuff when I was a kid. Oh no, Ash Ketchum. He's like he was the anime I grew up watching, or Yugi. Ugh, nope, would never do those names. I see. Nanae's gaze was transfixed on the basket, so I gave her another Palveron. I'm saying that wrong, I'm sure. Anyway, I gotta get back and start preparing for dinner. I'll be looking forward to it. Oh, you totally should. Oh, their banter. very sweet. This visual novel really approaches love, intimacy, and friendship in a very just sweet way. Ooh, what is this? Give me another memory, I think. I think we have time for one memory. Let's see. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow. The nurse leaned down and waved the boy goodbye. Goodbye. The boy took his mother's hand, who leaned down just like the nurse, and continued toward the gate of kindergarten where his parents' car waited. Oh, it's going to be real for me pretty soon. Red dragonflies fluttered against the backdrop of the crimson sunset. I returned to my book. After a bit of time, another car arrived, and there was one less child again. Uh-oh. Oh, Takako. Wait. Oh, this is Sachiko and Takako, how they met. What are you reading? I'm just trying to do child voices of the voice I've already done. A child's voice that caught me unawares. I looked from the book to see a young girl with a ponytail staring at me. Let's play if you're alone, she suggested before I could answer. I'm not alone. I glanced at the red-haired friend beside me. She was looking at the ponytailed girl. Oh, so this is Narasaki, too. What the? What was that? I'm so confused. That's gonna be the tagline of this game. I'm so confused. It's a good confused, but gosh darn it, this game. Oh, we have some tips. Narasaki Clinic, the bedroom has been unlocked and the kitchen has been unlocked. Oh, great. More mind craps. It's gonna just throw everything I know under the bus, huh? Chapter 3. Oh, that wasn't chapter 3 yet then. Okay, so this is chapter 3. Interesting. So what do we know? Takako. We're back to Takako. Interesting. Okay, so the sanatorium. This definitely looks like it might be in the past because of the sanatorium. It looks more Japanese. That is very interesting. Ooh, okay, so next episode. Very excited. We have 2 more tips we're going to explore, and then we'll begin chapter 3 back in the Takako world, which I have to admit, between Sachiko and Takako so far, I enjoy Takako and her point of view a lot more. I just find it to be refreshing. Sachiko tends to be very gloomy. And that's just kind of, I think it's good that I have such a different perspective on each side. Gives a good tell to the writing that's involved, where each character feels differently. I think something that a lot of writers suffer through, which is something I suffer to fairly often, is that I often, when I write my characters, even when I'm writing from different perspectives, I still write it in such a similar way that if I didn't tell you who the character was that we were discussing, you probably wouldn't be able to tell. But a good writer will be able to make the feeling of the writing match the character whose position we're seeing the story through. You can get away with my style of writing if you do it in like limited third-person perspective, where you never see through the eyes of the character per se, but you get glimpses into the thoughts that they have, and you learn as they learn, rather than learning an overarching plot completely by yourself. And that lets you jump perspectives too and explore different ideas. And it's probably my favorite style to read as well as to write. But first-person storytelling, while it's one of the hardest, can also be one of the most engaging because it really sucks you in and makes you feel like you're the character, and that's awesome. Anyway, so I've said a lot of my things in here. I'd love to hear your comments, of course. I'd love to hear what you think about my theories. Are you laughing at how confused I am? Because I would be if I knew what was going on, I'm sure. And then, of course, the genealogy, learning about your ancestry and your history, and appreciating the culture from which you come from. I'd love to hear about your thoughts on those. And then, I mean, I guess the other thing, too, is like, if you happen to be anybody who lives in Japan, I'd love to know personally, what do you think about someone like me wanting to come to Japan? Not necessarily just as a tourist, but as somebody who wants to, like, spend serious time in your country just for the sake of wanting to understand it better. Like, it's funny because I feel like I walk these lines in my life where I don't consider myself a creepy weeb, but at the same time, I do have similar interests to like all the people that talk about it. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like I understand enough that I wouldn't be insulting, and I definitely don't see myself as being someone like, oh, I'm gonna go live in Japan, my life's gonna be better. Like, heck no. I'm sure Japan's gonna be horrible in several ways. That recycling system, man, I don't know. I'll figure it out, but good grief, I'll mess it up a lot. I'm sure I mess up so much other stuff. I'm the kind of person who gets so lost in my own thoughts that little things I mess up all the time. So I'd be a nightmare roommate for someone in Japan. But I do really hope someday to be able to learn a language. I've always wanted to learn a language a bit good enough to be able to live in another country. And my life up till now, I feel like Japanese is something I've suddenly surrounded so much by, based on like my hobby interest with YouTube, with a lot of the games that I've fallen in love with, and the fact that I also find that anime tends to be more interesting than most television I can find here. It's like, why wouldn't I want to be able to more greatly indulge myself in these things? But I don't want to come across as creepy. So if any of you are from Japan and are looking at this from that perspective, I'd love to have your thoughts on that as a personal favor. And I'm always open to hearing it again and again from different people and different perspectives, because it's important to me to make sure that I do things right. But I will tell you this one thing, like, of the things that I'm most excited to like experience firsthand if I ever go to Japan, it's honestly going to be just talking to people. I want to see how people live their lives. I want to know what they think of the world, because there's so many different people to talk to here, but we all come from a similar culture. I can understand things so easily because I share a culture with people. Going somewhere like Japan, where the culture and the history is, and like even the folklore and everything is so different from what I grew up with, it's exciting to me to be so thrust into an unknown and to just be able to just have these experiences that I could never have here. That's really the key for me. And I honestly hope to travel to, I want to go to Korea, I want to go to China, I want to go to Europe. I'd love to go to the Middle East, but I'm terrified of the Middle East. There's a lot of reasons why I would probably not be like well received in the Middle East, so I'm hesitant to go there personally. Like, not to be offensive to anybody who lives there, but it's like I'm a squishy teddy bear. I guess I wouldn't be able to handle anything that's high stress. Like, I don't see that being a fun vacation. And there's just so much going on over there. I don't know. I'm going to dig myself a hole that's deeper than that. Let's just say, I want to see everything. I want to feel safe while I'm doing it. And so, some places seem more appealing than others sometimes. Like, it's just a fact. And it sucks, because I'd love to be able to go everywhere. I want to talk to everybody. It'd be so cool to visit all these different countries. Like, heck, and there's also fascination with the countries that you feel like would be the most dangerous, like North Korea. I feel like that's like number one on my like, I would never want to go there because it's so terrifying. But at the same time, it would be so interesting to see what it would really be like. Like, if I could turn invisible and just like explore and just witness it for myself. I want to be able to see things like that. I want to be able to know. I want to be able to know what other people's lives are like and how they think about the world. Anyway, gosh darn, I've been yakking your ears off this episode. Thanks for sticking around. I'm sure most of you clicked off a longer time ago, but for those of you who are still here, I appreciate it. I look forward to hearing your comments. And until the next video, watch with me or whatever to see me in next, I'll see you there.